That's it. All right, guys, what's up? Johnny Glock here, and back by popular demand, we're going to resurrect another episode of The Shop. But we have a very different guest today. Don't burn them too bad. That's people quit coming to the shop because it was just like the comment section was off the charts because people would come in with guns that were just like so bogus, and I mean it was a really good time. So go easy on them in the comment sections. But anyway. Let me give you the backstory. This is Jarek. Jarek is working with us now in the capacity of he's working with dealers, he's working with influencers, and he's doing events plannings and some stuff like that. But initially when the whole California thing happened and we couldn't ship to California anymore and we had to figure out what to do, we decided to have someone else come on board to manage just California. No matter what had to happen with California, we had to make it happen. We wanted to make sure we were able to get stuff to you guys. Because number one, I feel bad, and I hope that all works out for you, but man, oof. So we hired Jarek, and then Jarek's like, hey man, California can't sell Glocks anymore. Yeah. And so I'm like, wait a minute, what? So, if they can't sell Glocks anymore, it's kind of, hard to, have an employee that's like managing all of the dealer accounts, because we were going to have to go through. If you guys remember, we would have to send these triggers to an FFL. You would have to come to the FFL with your ID. You would have to purchase it there, and then the FFL could charge you whatever they wanted to charge you. You know what I mean? $15-20. So. After we heard that news that couldn't happen, we do have, those of you guys that are our dealers that do sell our stuff know, it's not like we have this huge dealer program, but we figured, why don't we try to open it up to the total, the entire United States. And so now that is Jarek's position to, what do you do all day?
Well, essentially, I reach out to different ranges, instructors, and gun shops around the country and sometimes around the world. Start building relationships with them, try to get our products in their hands and eventually on their shelves. And just kind of maintain the relationship after that, get them set up with their dealer account and make sure they got everything they need. That way all their customers and all their shooters have more access to our products.
And then I guess we're going over like what we really want you to do with affiliates and stuff like that. Fabe sent me something.
Yeah, it's a ever-changing role at this point.
Yeah,
we're just kind of figuring it out, and
I'm like, I'm paying this dude. I'm throwing stuff at him. Have him do this. Have him do that.
I'm here for it.
Yeah. So I met Jarek because my daughter rides horses. I mean, I ride horses too, but Jarek comes from a very famous circus family, and I mean, what are the No, seriously, man. I mean, how many far generations back does it go?
Oh gosh, on my mom's side, it's 9 generations back. Okay. Yeah, back to Europe.
Okay.
So yeah, the Circus Rosaire toured over there for literally generations. And at that point they were riding around in stagecoaches.
Yeah.
Literally pulling everything with horse and buggy, setting up in town to town, and showcasing their incredible talents.
That's really cool history. You know what I mean? Like, and it's lost art stuff now. You know what I mean? Because it's like, and someone will go see the circus and they just don't realize when they see guys on high wires or even on horses. You know what I mean? Like everyone gets bored by the animal action. I'm like, if you even knew what it was like to take a horse in a circle at like 20 miles an hour and hang off it, it's like you don't have a freaking clue, dude.
Yeah. Well, the circus has definitely had some major changes over the past years. Pretty much all the animal acts got taken out after Ringling and the whole PETA scene and everything like that. So you don't see a lot of animals in circuses now. If you do, it's typically just horses and dogs. But now they've started doing like these like adrenaline type, like nitro circus type deals where it's a lot of dirt bikes and it's a lot of production, lots of lights and sound and stuff like that. And there's not really as much of that classic talent as you used to see back in the day.
They got to keep the dopamine going.
Yeah, exactly.
They got to keep it. And even when all that stuff's going on, kids are on their phones, like someone's doing like a 360 in the air and they're like, it's crazy. Yeah, so, his mother's just a heck of a gal, and we got along really good with her. And I used to talk to Jarek when I was there with my daughter. And, I don't know if you guys ever saw, what was the one with Al Pacino and Colin Farrell? that it was like Al Pacino was like, I'm a scary judge of talent. You remember that? It wasn't Heat. It was I forget, but they were CIA guys or FBI guys, and they told him he was the knock. And you guys ever see that movie?
Nope.
Anyway, so I was just talking to Jarek, and I could just tell like he's got a gift. You know, he's got it. And then his mom's like, "Oh yeah, Jarek's looking for a job." I'm like, "Wait a minute, what?" And this was like right about the same time that we were looking for someone. I'm like, "Dude, can you do this?" And I think you've been pretty psyched about it.
Yeah. No, 100%.
You know, we have, I guess he signed up 13 guys. And I'm going to shout out to y'all, make a damn order, man. Let's go. Get off the pot, bro. Come on, man. The guy might get a noose around his neck here. We got to start bringing in the loot. So anyway, Jarek has got good gun handling skills. Every time we hire someone new, we put them through safety courses with our instructors because we just want to make sure we vet them properly and we know they're up to speed, and we know if we next them on the range, nothing's going to happen. It's something you just have to do. Like even in this room, there's not any live ammunition allowed whatsoever. We're pulling so many dang triggers, and if I even think that there's any live ammo, that's what anyone you guys visit the shop, I always say very, very plainly, no live ammo. You come in here with a loaded gun, get on out, unload it, come back in. You know, be courteous, actually. So with that said, we want to start doing some more shooting with him. And, you know, you got to, let me see here. So, you got to respect a man that carries a 40. I pull it out of his gun and I'm like, oh no, this is a 23 guy. Why do you like carrying the 40 cal?
I just like a lot of bang, man.
Yeah. I just can never, ever. No, I'm a 10 millimeter guy. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I like a hot load. That sounded bad. A hot loaded projectile. That was even worse. A hot loaded projectile. Anyway. There's no way to say that. I'm thinking in my mind, like, wait, how can I redeem myself? There isn't. There's just none. All right. So pray for me tonight. Anyway, so we figured, you know, he needs to get a Johnny Glock trigger in his everyday carry, and then so we're gonna knock this out real quick, and just have some conversation and stuff like that, just so you can get to know him, and I can get to know him better too. And then he's got something over here that. We got like a Frankenstein Glock, and we're going to build it from complete scratch. You know, a lot of stuff I'm laughing because it's almost like, you know, he's the low guy on the totem pole. So I'm like taking RMRs off his old stuff and like trying to find her. Oh, here's a, you know, going through the bin. Oh, found it. Recoil assembly. We got it. We're good. Yep. But you know what? It's going to work, and we know it's going to work, and we're going to test it anyway. But it's like I was just laughing about like the hand-me-down sort of thing.
Literally a hand-me-down special.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, it's going to run. I'll tell you that. I promise you that. So this is defensive carry. So basically, what we're going to do is we're going to. Would you grab over on the wall a VEX model, Gen 1 through 3, to your right, to your right. To your right, to your right, to your right.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
I think it's the third. Does that say 1 through 3?
Gen 1 through 3 VEX, yep.
Yep, that's it.
Combat, yep.
You know what? I don't think we've ever filmed me doing a striker, have we?
No. You do a live strike? Hell yeah. Let's do it.
All right. Guys, we're going to make it a line with a circle. Anyway, so, and I don't know if you guys know why the 26s and the 26s, the 26s and the 19s and some of the other guns have this step-down trigger. And it's basically because the geniuses at the ATF have this point system. And when the Glocks were first coming in, they didn't meet the criteria for the certain amount of points they needed to have for the gun to pass to come into the United States. And so they decided to do this, just the change of this shoe was enough to put them one over the point system that give them the ability to get these guns imported into the United States. I had a giveaway, and I asked, what is the nickname of the drift sights? You know how they have on the 34, the sights that go horizontal, the sights on the 34 that are you can adjust them for windage and stuff like that, and I said, and this was nothing you can really find on like Google or Chat GPT at the time. I said, what is the nickname of them? And no one won it. No one actually won it. And the nickname is the weekend sights. And that's because the 34 would not pass either. But since the 34 was a competition style gun, they didn't want to put this trigger shoe on it. Over one weekend, Gaston got together with his boys and they created the sights, the adjustable sight. And that was enough to push the point system over so they could get them imported. So,
The more you know.
yeah, interesting, huh? All right. This is a typical, it's a typical Gen 3. You know, I cut my teeth on Gen 3s as you did, you know. It's just they have some efficiency issues, but as far as the brake is concerned, and as far as like what I feel is like ideal as far as something that's wall crisp, it's the Gen 3. The Gen 3s had it. I think once Glock started switching the recipe with the Gen 4, Gen 5, now the Gen 6 is even another iteration further away from the Gen 3, which is all fine. But I think I always find it interesting when, you know, the new shooters get our triggers and they're like, wow, this is totally different. Because they're precise, you know what I mean? There's a wall and then a snap. It's not like there's a wall, pull, break, and there's like this weird gap of no man's land and unpredictability. If it's a competition trigger, that's one thing. But for defensive, we always talk about like you want that wall because people are staging. I've heard so many people say, "Well, I don't put my finger on that trigger unless I absolutely know I have to." And like all you gotta do is crunch statistics, and you see how many people have shot people and gone to jail because they put their finger on that trigger and it was too late, and they're just all jacked up on whoop chicken, bro. Adrenaline's all flying through them, and they just put one into someone very prematurely. It happens. So that's why we're big on that's why we're big on the predictability part of it. So just gonna pop this bad boy open. Hopefully he doesn't clean his gun. You'll do fine here, bro. You'll do fine. Coming here with a clean gun. What the hell? Back when I used to take guns in, you know, at the other shop, the guy's like, "Hey, how am I gonna get my gun back if I send it dirty?" I forget how the story went, but I said, "Well, however you send it in is how you're getting it back. Like, I'm not going to clean your gun up. Like, I'm not cleaning your gun, bro, because I don't even clean my own gun." Literally, like, yeah, look at this. This is perfect. Shoot decent ammo. It should look like this. It should have a nice amount of like crusty slurry on it. You can see here. Let's do a little show and tell, but. See that demarcation right there and how that's changed? You can see from back there's a different color on that. That's simply because it's rubbing off the outcropping right here that's on the inside of the frame. It's not bad. It's not good. Obviously, I felt the trigger. I couldn't feel any drag. A lot of times if you feel like in an inordinately heavy trigger or something like that, that could be one of the culprits. Or during a reset when the gun comes back, if it has drag or something like that, I have a video called "Chasing Grit, Grime, and Drag." That's one of the areas that you could find it. Something interesting here. Let me see. He's got a little bit of. See how there's just a hot spot there, and then if I turn it on the back of here, there's a corresponding couple hot spots on here. That line right there is your connector, where your connector rests every time for reset. So this has been a pretty decently shot gun. But that's why, you know, when we do what we do, when we polish and we take down edges and we, you know, everyone thinks we just polish. But that's one of the things that we're doing. We're changing faces. We're doing something, it's proprietary, but you don't get hot spots, you know, because that eventually is going to cause problems eventually. Now, like I said, a dirty gun like this, it's almost like it's a slur, not a slurry, but like this really keeps it lubricated. You know, if he was shooting crappy ammo, like say Winchester white box, then you'd have an issue. You know, or there's a couple of different ammos out there that have a very, I guess it's saltpeter. Someone told me like that quality. It's almost like a once you start mixing that with the carbon and you have oil, it's almost like Ajax. So it starts to like really scour the parts. Whereas this right here, that's just wear. There's going to be a big difference. If I looked at this and it looked like there was scrapes on it, it would be a different story. So, yeah. Yeah, guys, I mean, everyone, I know there's guys like, I clean my gun and I'm not ripping on you. You know what I mean? I'm just saying it's not really necessary. And sometimes it's to a fault. Like, and I know there's some guys that are like, from my cold, dead hands that are going to be in the comment section. And most of you guys probably don't even know what that reference is. That's Charles Heston. From my cold, dead hands. You know, it's like a mentality. It's an old NRA kind of mentality that we have, that you'll see out there. And they're not wrong. You know what I mean? But, you know, got to think differently sometimes. Anyway, yeah, this is, and I don't see enough problems with this outcropping right here. The video shows you how to take that down with like a felt. If he was having problems with it, we could do something like that. It'll be even more interesting when we get into the slide because there's a lot of telltale stuff there. It's cool. So let's grab this out. Can you grab me those pliers behind you? All right. Why don't you give the camera your spiel?
Which spiel?
The dealer spiel, man. I want to hear it. Make sure I'm getting my money's worth.
Oh, geez. You really put me on the spot here. I don't really have a spiel, you know. I'm a chill guy. I give them a call and I ask them about their Glock sales, kind of what they got going on.
Here's what we're gonna do. Ring. Ring. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, not bad, man. Not bad. How about yourself?
Good. Hey, so I'm Jarek with Johnny Custom Glocks.
Okay.
And I just wanted to ask you guys a few questions. First off, am I speaking to the right person about bringing in a new product to your store?
Well, I own the place, so.
Okay, perfect, man. Well, how are you get? Are you gonna hang up on me?
No, I'm just gonna set that down. Okay, so.
No, it's something along the lines of, you know, just I'm just wondering what your Glock sales are like, and if you guys are offering any upgrades at the counter to try and increase your average ticket sale on them. And if the answer is yes, and you guys are already selling aftermarket triggers and stuff, that's perfect because our stuff sells great along to the other shit that isn't as good.
Right. That's true. That's true.
No, it's a little more complex than that. So yeah, we ask about the Glock sales, and if you're doing anything to upgrade your ticket sales there at the counter, and if you're not, you know, that's when selling something like a Johnny Glock's product, or selling Johnny Glock's product to be particular, is it's offering you just a little bit more money in your pocket at the counter, as opposed to people ordering stuff from, you know, a third-party site or directly from a manufacturer, or just walking out of the door and going to another store who does do those upgrades. You know?
Yeah, people are going to buy these triggers regardless, guys. So, like, might as well.
They're either going to buy them from us or they're going to buy them from a dealer. You know, it just gives the dealers the opportunity to make that extra little buck.
Yeah, and it's cool, like to just to know that your products are out there. You know, and we've never had anyone that have been like, hey, we're not buying anymore. You know what I mean? It's like they don't not sell, especially ranges. If there's anyone out there that owns a range, we'll set you up with free triggers. You know what I mean? Like a couple comps, just so you can throw them in your. That's how they sell. You throw a couple of those in your rental guns, it's game over.
That's it.
Really,
you know, it's all about getting one in somebody's hands, and then from there on, I mean, the thing just sells itself.
All right. I'll let you keep your job for a little bit.
Oh, God, dude, thank God, because I was like a babbling idiot for a second there, dude.
Gotta put him on the spot, man. Come on.
I'm literally sweating.
No, That's because you got. No, this is a guy. Look, he went out and got his own Johnny Glock shirt, man.
I was wondering where that fucking.
Oh yeah,
came from. I've
this is
never
custom,
seen that.
baby.
What is it called? Shirt Ninja or
Baller,
something?
dude, That's baller.
Ninja prints. Yep.
Ninja Prints.
Shout out Ninja Prints. They messed up the centering and put one upside down though, so maybe we don't use them.
Oh man. I hate that guy. And it's easy. If these are easy to put in, like, look, I'm just like, literally, we're sitting here talking like a bunch of monkeys, and they're going in just like fine. Next thing you know, it's together. And that's the thing. We always call the Glock a seemingly simple gun because, yes, you're right. A monkey can take it apart and put it together. But if there's something wrong with it, most people are like, because they've just put them together and taken it apart. They haven't had enough with issues. You know, you start working with agencies and you start working with like, you know, issues. You're just kind of like, you got to like really think outside the box. And a lot of times, they run. You know what I mean? That's the one thing, they run. But I've seen some issues where I've just been like, oh, what in the heck? I've seen some things that I still can't figure out. You know, I can't remember that, but I remember there was like there was a couple things with the trigger shoes breaking, and it had something to do with temperature. But it was like kind of beyond my. I was telling Matt about that from Asshole. It was they call it the heroin. I said, you ever heard of a place called the Heroin Highway? He's like, yeah, that's most of Massachusetts, you know. But the officers would go down into this ravine, and the drug runners realized that they had lost comms down there, and so that's where they would basically wait for ambush. They would want to get caught in that area, and they would kick open doors with AKs, and you know, it was like a right out of a movie. You know what I mean? And some guys got,
Damn.
you know, and so, but they were having problems with like getting out in the cold right out of the cruiser, and the triggers were just snapping in half. You know, it's crazy. Yeah, interesting stuff. So anyway, we're going to run this through the test. Basically, we do this with every trigger. I'm going to pull it forward, make sure that you got to pull it forward like that, make sure your safety's engaged. Then you're just going to take these both legs and you're going to pull back as hard as you can to make sure that first defense of safety right there is being held. Secondly, you're going to, first line of defense is one. Secondly, you're going to push down on this cruciform. It's going to move a little bit because there's a spring that pulls it up, but you really want to make sure it's on the drop shelf. If this wasn't on the drop shelf, or if it was running the ragged edge, and I disengaged this, you would sort of feel that. See how it pushed down? I'm going to come back up. A lot of trigger makers might go about right there to like try to really soak more pre-travel out, and just a little bit of a weight of a hit is going to drop that down off the drop shelf. That's why, you know, something like that could do that. So we try to stay on the drop shelf by like at least a third, and we've found out that's more than enough pre-travel taken out to have your finger land on the trigger where we want it to land on the trigger. A nice purchase, a nice feeling purchase when you, like, you know, when you feel a new frame, feel the Gen 6 frame, you get that frame in your hand, like, this feels really good.
Yeah.
That's the way we want you to feel when you put your finger on the trigger, like, wow, this got a different feel. You know what I mean? Like the VEX feels like nothing else. That's why I think that's why it does so well. It's just got those rounded edges, and it's got the silhouette that's flat. But you know, the story was I couldn't stand flat shoes, and that's why I designed this. Because I never could get used to flat shoes. I hated the angles. Anyway, so that's how simple it is, man. We're done. That was great. That was easy, and we got to see. We got to put him under the bright lights and see how he did.
Yeah, shit. I want a chance of redemption now.
Think he's Johnny Glock worthy? Let us know in the comments section. So we're taking all this apart now, and let's see what we got here. All right. So what you're going to see here is a decent amount of carbon buildup right on the claw of the extractor. Not a ton, but this is something you want to pay attention to, because over time, if that gets too crusted up, it's not going to be able to grab the rim of your casing. You go to Harbor Freight, and there's like a 4-pack of, I think I have them right here. You know, stuff like, there's stuff that I'll buy from Harbor Freight, and then there's like Snap-on tool level stuff, and then there's Harbor Freight level stuff. Something like this, where I know I'm just going to need like a claw like this to actually get into that and kind of, scrape that away. And if Mike's doing his job, speaking of doing your job, you'll be able to see all this stuff kind of coming out of there, a lot of carbon. So you always want to keep the claw of that extractor clean. And other than that, you kind of just do an inspection. There's some wear marks on here. This is all just from a gun that's been shot. Nothing really standing out. Let's move over to the firing pin safety. Now, typically, sometimes on these older gens, especially when it has a lot of rounds on it, you'll tend to see chowdering marks, burrs, and stuff like on this shelf right here. And that's usually from the way this is designed. This has to go up for this to bypass through. And sometimes there's a little glitch right about there where this ramp is kind of chipping into this, especially when it comes back forward in battery where it stops it. Okay. So if I actually throw my thumb on here, you can see just the smallest amount of peening. Can you see that, Jarek? Right there.
Mm-hmm.
You see that in the thing?
Yeah.
So basically there's a little peening right there. It just looks like something like over and over again. And that's, like I said, that's from when gun comes back, it's fired, and then when this goes to drop back down right there, you get that kind of phenomenon. But it hasn't been enough that it's going to leave marks on these. These are pretty strong. I think these are like in the like low 50 Rockwell, something like that. They're hardened parts. This is not enough for me to actually this is like not enough for me to worry about it. You know what I mean? Like this, and a lot of times I'd rather. I mean, we're changing out this stuff anyway because it's we're putting a kit in there for him. I was going to show you guys how I do these strikers because like I've never ever shown that ever on a. Unless you've been here and watched me, we've never done that on a video. Other than that, I'm sure I am not going to be able to find any Q-tips because they always get moved around here, and if they're just not within eyesight, they're not going to get found. But basically, I would take a Q-tip and kind of clean that out. Yeah, I should probably. I'll just grab a shop rag and. I'll just make my own Q-tip. Q-tip? What do you mean, son? Just make your own. Get a little something there and just dig on in. Yeah, so you can see a good amount of carbon just build up. That's just on that, 4 edges of the extractor. Go down into here. Yeah, this is kind of what you really need the Q-tip for, but look, if it doesn't fire and you get in problems, just throw the gun at it. Just run. Yeah. Actually, it does have a bit of buildup in it, so. Ow! Time to get the brush out. I mean, if we're getting in there, we might as well get in there. Same thing with this one. And as you can see, I'm not using like CLP or any kind of solvent or anything like this. I'm just brushing it off. Oh, that's clean enough for me. All right, so then we're going to replace the Got anything else to say for yourself? Well,
No, I'm just replaying in my head everything that just happened, and I'm going to have to redeem myself at some point because I'm going to get drug in the comments.
I
I'm
don't
gonna
think
ask.
so.
Hey, gun store owners, give them a call. Test them out live.
Yeah, or like Johnny said, you know, all you guys who already set up accounts, go ahead and place an order. You know, what are you waiting on?
Oh, where they find you on Instagram? How do they get a hold of you?
You can actually find me on Instagram at JohnnyGlocks_wholesale, right? So you guys can just shoot me a DM straight there, or you can shoot me an email at Jarek@JohnnyGlocks.com. That's Jarek. For all our European viewers, I know it's Jarek, technically is the way that it's said, but you know, this is America, so we have to play it a little bit differently here. People aren't so good with enunciation.
All right, let's do what I would do. Here, you answer the phone. Ring.
Hello.
Hey, what's happening, buddy? How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
You guys sell Glocks?
Yep.
You have Johnny Glock triggers?
Nope.
What the hell's wrong with you? I'm going to come through that phone, and I'm going to choke you out.
Well, it's usually, you know, hey, have you guys heard of Johnny Custom Glocks? And they'll either say, yeah, of course, I already run your trigger in my own personal gun. Okay, do you guys have a dealer account set up with us? No? Why not?
Right.
Well, that's a good question. And then they'll sign up.
All right. I didn't think you did too bad. I didn't think you did great, but
Just out of for my curiosity, what's the sign up process like? Is that like automated on the website, or do you?
No, it's super easy. You just shoot me over your FFL and your resale certificate, sign the MAP policy, and you're good to go. Then from there, I set up your discount codes. I shoot them back over to you, and then I'll give you a phone call and see if you want to just place an order right then and there. And you know, while you got me on the phone, and then if not, you know, you guys are free to do it on your own time. But
and basically the codes are tiered correctly, so there's
Yes.
percentages for amounts
Yes.
spent. We don't have a buy-in.
right, there's no buy-in, there's no minimum. But for each purchase you make, you'll apply for one of the codes. Basically, it goes 10, 15, 20.
Percent.
Yeah, 10, 15, 20% off. So there's up to $1,500, 10% off. $1,501 to $3,000 will get you 15% off. Then anything over $3,000 will get you that 20% off discount.
And then we're working on some packages. You know what I mean? Some incentive packages and stuff like that. Then we'll make them pretty tasty. You know what I mean? Because we know it's going to sell. You know what I mean? It's just got to get it in the stores.
That's it.
All right, so I just took this striker apart. This is one thing you're going to see in a lot of strikers right there. Once again, I hope the lights are in our favor here. Right there, you can see at the bottom where the engagement was happening. Can you see that demarcation right there, the shinier part?
Yeah.
So basically, if we would really close up on that, that's actually a line that's cut in through the copper nickel. So what they do with these is the galvanization, I don't mean to use that word, I don't know if it's the proper terminology, but the coating, that's what I say. The coating process is nickel copper, and you know, nickel's hard, but in order to put it on, you have to use copper, at least that's what they use. And copper's pretty soft, so what happens from the over and over and over of these two parts mating back together right there, the cruciform kick-up is coming back, is coming back, is coming back, is coming back. Picking, like when your striker gets picked up, It kind of causes a delineation right there. And if you have a bad one, it actually causes kind of a hitch in your brake. Because if you remember the way this works is, and on this I'm grossly over exaggerating this, as this is being pushed back, this is coming down from the connector. So it's pushing back. I'll do this real slow back, and it's sliding down the lug face, and then it looses the striker. So if you start that process and there's a glitch right there, there's a line, you're going to get a little hitch. You're going to get a little hitch in your trigger brake.
A little hitch in your giddy up.
Yeah, a little hitch in your giddy up.
Yeah.
So, all right.
So taking a bunch of hot loads will wear and tear on your system.
Yeah. This is interesting too because this does not have an OEM marking on it. Now it is OEM because because it's got two slashes, but the OEM 357 40 cal should be. I think it's marked with like a 4. What is it? Yeah, 427. Here's one right here from the factory, and it is 4270. It's probably before they started marking that. Another interesting thing about his gun is if you take a look at the trigger bar leg, it's an older version that before they put the notch in, let me grab a OEM bar right here. I forget what year they did this, but you can see the difference in between. That's the old style. This is the new style. That has the notch cut into it, so you don't have to worry about that thing's, turning around the side. Yeah. And then for the Gen 4s, they started putting that little dimple on there, and they changed some things up, but they got away from that because then it just wasn't absolutely necessary. All right, so striker. Firing up all the lights. Guys, gotta remember, I'm older, man. Got them 57-year-old eyes. Steal my wife's glasses because she always has these laying around because I need the. And then, I don't know if you guys have ever seen this. There's a lot of particulate in here, and when I'm on this thing all day or half the day, I have to protect my lungs because that stuff never comes out. It just doesn't. So basically, I got this 3M thing. I feel like I'm in the Terminator movie sometimes. Not Terminator, but yeah, the Terminator. So this is feeding me air from back here. Be really careful.
Yeah.
It's the day after eating Mexican. If you know what I'm
Say,
saying.
don't rip ass.
You'll be working and you're like, I just did. All right, this is a work sharp. A lot of this stuff is kind of rigged. The way I have it rigged, you can see like a lot of it, it's just what works for me. So I've been doing this for so long. But we're going to start out with a 600 belt. And this is going to get off all my nickel copper and get me down to my first sanding. So what I'm doing is, of course this is round, but I'm shaving it off in a way that I'm using this is flat, but I want to just give it the littlest bit of convex, because it's the littlest bit of convex. And I must have done, I don't know, man, over 100,000 of these dang things. So, and that's a lot of. So you can see how I'm starting to take off. You can see the edges of the copper around there.
Huh.
You see that?
Yeah.
And this is a 3M product called Trizec. It's the only, or Trizac. It's the really what I like to use. It could go either way. I hate the belts that have to go one way. It's like just a waste because I can flip this and do it the other way and not worry about compromising anything. And then I'm going to drop down to a 600. This is, and the process is a little bit different for the ones that I send out. We're just doing it here in the shop quickly, and I know this is going to get the job done. It's going to give us enough of a refined surface that it's going to do amazing with the cruciform kick up. We're going to change the belt again. Mike's like, these guys are like, where's my spaceman hat?
I know.
Hey man, cameraman never dies.
You don't care about us. And then, where's the 2500? 2500 belt. This is the new 2500 too. So if I'm putting a new belt on, it's funny, like, see this material on here? I didn't like the hardness of the wheel, so I just grabbed some of this. It's like, you know, you got to work what you got. Yeah, so we're getting there. That's another level. And what I'm doing is I'm splitting, you know, because we have 600, 800, 1,000, 1,200, 1,500, 2,500, 5,000, and then we do some lapping on it. So we're just going to take this one up to 5,000.
Oh wow. Wait, have these been done?
What's that?
Have these ones been done? Out of the bin?
No, those are the. Those ones haven't been done. Well, these aren't. Here's what you can show the difference
That's
of.
what I
This is
want.
see the tooling marks and stuff on there.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on 1 second.
Put them right next to each other. We can compare them. Hang bro.
There it is. That's perfect.
Yeah. Don't ever say I didn't show you how to do that. But literally, you've seen it. I've been on this. I'll be on this for 7 or 8 hours a day. You know. I feel like the guy that old Dunkin' Donuts must make the donuts. Must do the strikers. All right, so we're gonna use the 4.5 pound spring. But first, let's take a look at his cups. And his cups look pretty good. What I'm looking for right here is the collar to see if there's if there was an issue, they would look incredibly matte. And that would tell me like it was like a bad rub. It was like polymer rubbing off a polymer, because the spacer sleeve in here is polymer as well. And I know some of you guys have taken these apart and you've seen some of these cups. They're just like trashed, man. They're rounded off. One side's like a little bit, uneven. And that's what happens. A lot of people say, like, when I tell them about, well, hey, my trigger's pulling really heavy. I'm like, well, change your spring cups. They're like, or your firing pin channel. I'm like, what? What's that have to do with anything? And I said, well, grab your striker and pull it like I have them pull the striker out. And if it stutters, so if you pull and it goes tut, that means as this is coming out, it's not coming out straight. It's kind of like, you know what I mean? And that's coming from wear on these. And so as you're trying to pull that striker, it's almost like trying to open a door unevenly. You know what I mean? You push the door back in. It's the exact same thing. That door's getting stuck because you're not tracking back straight. And I remember when I figured that out, I felt like, because I couldn't see it either. I'm like, what is doing this? It was just driving me crazy. I could not figure out. I checked everything out. And then all of a sudden I was like, because I was thinking like you normally think, it couldn't be like, I just didn't think it could be in that striker, that something that small. But yeah, sure enough. As soon as I changed them too, I was like, I'm going to make people think how smart I am. I'm going to tell everyone.
So does how like recoil assembly has a shelf life? Does a channel liner or spring cups have that?
It's really like, Glock puts everything at kind of like, okay, so if it's a Gen 3, if it's this, that's 2,500 rounds. Got to change it after 2,500 rounds. The only reason they went to the dual for the Gen 5, for the Gen 4 was because, most of the stuff they do, like 75% of their market's military and law enforcement. So if those guys need something, they kind of listen. And so they got sick of changing these every 2,500 rounds. And it's funny because a lot of the precincts were like, we don't want to have to pay that much. You know what I mean? They're $3. But so Glock said, all right, we're going to make you one that you only have to change 5,000 rounds. And they're like, yeah, but now it's $6. So you're spending the same amount of money no matter what. I was never a fan of the dual springs. I've always liked these flat coils. I just think they're a lot smoother. And with that said, what has Glock gone back to? It's the exact same spring, dude. Look. 5583. Here's a Gen 6. Let's open it up. Gen 6 19. Well, that says 5593. But it's the exact same damn thing. 30-some years later. Goes around, comes around. They probably had a whole warehouse of these sitting somewhere there like, hey, gotta do something with these, man. It's good.
Dust off that box.
That's how I've had to do things. You know what I mean? Like, what are we going to do? You know what I mean? Especially when the Gen 5s came out and no one had any of the parts. We made them out of Gen 3 parts. We were sitting there with cutoff wheels making them. And they worked so well. That was one of the wicks like a machine. Like we sent them to someone to have them make them. And we sent them like 10 of wicks. And they're like, what machine did you use to do this? And I said, I didn't. We had wick do it. They're like, the plus and minus on these are like it's unreal. You know what I mean? Like it's unreal how close every single one of these. Like those are done by hand. Yeah, he's a knife builder too.
Oh, okay.
He's like one of those guys. So you'll like Wick. A little outspoken. It's probably going to be in jail soon, but no. Oh man, I could tell you the story. Getting visited by 3-letter agencies and I'll talk to you about your employee, Brandon Hoyt. Like, you never been my employee. You pay employees. We bartered. All right, so and the test, by the way, if this thing is spent, I mean really spent, the way you check that is you're going to break your trigger. And then you're going to come back and you're going to let this go and see how there's strength right there. It comes right back up in. If this was weak, it would stall about right there. it would be sitting right there. It wouldn't want to come back in because it just doesn't have enough spring left in the spring. Enough spring left in the spring. All right, so there's your wall. There's your brake, and with this I can automatically feel there's some over travel jump in it, so I'm going to dial that out. But as far as the brake's concerned, it's a nice fast, but you can see, like I said, like it jumps all the way to the back of the frame. If you guys have one of my triggers, it shouldn't do that. It shouldn't go all the way to the back. That means you got to get in there and dial it out.
One more time.
Wall, brake, jump, like that. And that's why a lot of people complain about Glocks, because it goes past the brake, and so what, and it's a nuance too. If you've got a good grip, you're not going to really feel it, but it jumps just so it makes the gun want to kind of go like that.
Mm-hmm.
But that all comes down to grip fundamentals too. Like if you've got a solid grip, you're not going to really have, and the gun's going to do that anyway. It's like, you know, you're going to see your dot rise and settle and rise and settle, but it is something to consider. So, this comes with the hex wrench. I'm just using this because it's easier. And we might have to split this into 2 videos, bro.
Or give the people a marathon.
I gotta put another gun together after this, man. After that sales pitch. You know what's great though? Like Jarek, like from his mother, and he's got an older brother too. Like, we don't hire people here that don't have thick skin. Like, you literally have, and like the first time he came in, like hanging out with like we had lunch together and just hanging out with the boys, and the banter was just like, you know, and you can ask Mike too, it's like unforgiving. It really is. Like, if you don't like people, if someone from the outside came in, they'd be like, that work culture, I'd never work there. You guys need some DEI or whatever the heck it's called. You know, where's the HR? Where's the
HR doesn't exist around here.
You know, but you know, that's
it's
like
in jest.
Yeah, and you know what? I've always found, like, the guys that you don't rip on and, like, you know, jab and stuff like that, they're like I'm not going to waste my time doing that with you if I don't like you. You know what I mean? Like, it might seem like I don't like you, but like that's endearment. So when I tell you your pitch sucked,
I told you I don't have a pitch, man.
I know.
So, on these Gen
Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm dialing this in. So, okay, if I back this out like that, you'll see that changes the position of the bar. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get this bar to stop after it breaks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go clockwise. I'm going to turn this in. And if you're looking right there at that gap is going to increase because I want to stop it right after it breaks. And it is kind of, there we go. See it opening up, Mike? Can you see that?
Yeah.
I'm going to push it a little bit because it did have a lot of overjump. But at the same time, that's not even the width. This is 35. This is a 035, you know, width. And it's just about that could fit in there. So just that little couple turns only gave me that much room to move.
And so
and it's a difference between night and day. Once you have, like, if you, like, everyone says, oh yeah, your triggers are great. If you get it dialed in, it's a whole different story. So don't be afraid to dial it in. This one, like, as you can tell, we have a lot of Loctite. We put a lot, like, that's not going to move again. But if you start messing with it and you see that it starts to move, that's just the way Loctite is. Make sure you get some Loctite out and re-cure it. And the way to do that is, like, after I'm done here, I can take a visual and say, all right, that's like, if I look above it, just the very, very end of that is sticking out right there on that horizontal plane. So I want to put it back in. I want it to make it look exactly like that. And I'm going to test it again anyway. So, you know, it's got to be like a visual thing. Don't try to go, you know, 1 turn, 2 turn, 3 turn, 4 turn. It'll drive you crazy. Use a visual aid. Oh, see, like, okay, now you can see the distance, like, it's not going all the way back. Like, the distance we just changed was literally, if you see where it stopped right there, it was almost actually hitting the back of the frame. So we've taken out right there, you know, easily over probably like a 1/16 of an inch of movement. And it's still got some more room to go. Let me do this first just to see if we're even close. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push down on this gun, and it's a clean break. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to bring these two parts closer together, so that makes my engagement closer together. So that means I'm bringing these two, this and the striker into deeper contact with one another. So if it breaks, then I know I still have room to move. Sometimes it'll glitch out right there, and then I'll have to make a decision once I put the magazine in if there's enough distance in between the slide to frame ratio that I'm okay with it. So that's like when that was 1/8 of a turn, maybe closer to 1/4. But you should really take the time to do this with your triggers, because you really can get the maximum benefit out of them. Oh my! Like look, watch. You see the difference?
Yeah.
The frickin' thing, like, so it breaks and then it just stops. That's exactly what you want. So all that room that you saw from the tip of that to there, we took out of this trigger just by those little adjustments. So make sure, I'm telling you, make sure you're dialing your triggers in. It's night and day. And then so when you go to reset, look, the reset is just so much shorter. And I'm even over jumping it a little bit. If I go like right there, now let me push down on it, it's still breaking clean. Now I'm that kind of guy, so I'm going to push it a little bit more. Okay, so now here's where it glitches. So I'm going to push down. Let me show it to you this way. I don't want to flash anyone, but go over there, Mike. Okay, so I go to. It's very short, okay, and it's actually breaking, but I can feel a little bit of a glitch. So if I push down on this, watch, it's not breaking. As soon as I lift my hand up, watch. Oh, and now see the delay? That'll happen. So that is too much. You've taken too much out of the system. So basically now you just want to ratchet that back half of that. And this is a done deal, so I can put it all back together. Where's your first pin? I just go from right to left when I put the guns back together. And the reason I do that is because of these pins right here. I would rather only have to go through there when I'm coming backwards. When I'm coming back this way, I would only have to go through that ring once and have the chance of that snagging up than having to go snap through the one, snap through the other. That's it. The only reason I do it that way. Another thing, okay, now we have this, like you see some wear on there, that's all fine, man. See some wear on there, that's all fine. What wouldn't be fine is if this spring was over like that, or over like this. You really want this spring completely, that wouldn't be perpendicular, that would just be, that would be parallel. Look at it from this way, want it completely parallel with this, right on top of it. And then listen, there's a little click there, then you know that this has seated in that ring. And when people say, hey, my trigger pin is walking, it's usually because they don't have it seated. Like I can't push that through because it's seated in that ring that I showed you. That's how, that's the design. So now we're going to put this together. Yeah, man, this is just, Just perfection. If your pitch was as good as this damn trigger. Feel that thing, bro.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's just, yeah.
It's about as good as it gets.
And it's a defensive weapon, you know what I mean? Like we're staying within the parameters. We're not trying to. There's some stuff going on right now in Ben Stoker's channel with Timney triggers and stuff like that. You can check that out if you want. But like, people always try pushing these guns into this like race mode, and the unreliability happens. And then over time, you might get it good for a certain amount of time, and that's what Ben was really harping on today. It's like, yeah, it'll work at first, but is it going to continue to work? And that's what everyone's experiencing. But the thing with these triggers is, the safety is the safety and the reliability and the predictability. Reliability is the first thing. So I'm using all Glock OEM parts. They are not going to fail you. They are designed to work every single time. There's not going to be any kind of. Every once in a while, you'll have a shooter that'll put 100 rounds through, and it'll start doing that. It won't want to break. Now it's a polymer gun, so sometimes it takes things to settle. But after you would do that one adjustment, you're good. It's not going to change anymore, because, like I said, it is a polymer gun. But you'll suss that out within the first, 50 to 100 rounds. If anything is going to shift just a little bit, and we have triggers out there, 100,000 plus rounds on it. Easily. Hey, how many rounds are on your gun now? They're like, oh, it's just crazy. So. Put all this stuff back in here for you. This is the way we do it. We don't cannibalize. If you ever go to a gun store and they keep all this stuff, make sure you tell them, hey, I want my stuff back. Gun stores are notorious for cannibalizing this stuff. And then their Glock armor is back there like, I got some more parts. Got a whole drawer full of crap. The heck do I want this for, dude? But they do. Don't let them take your parts. Just be like, bro, those are like.
Even if they're old and crusty. Dude.
Yeah. And if you do take my parts, we'll do it like a core charge. All right, knock $20 off the trigger. You can have those crappy parts. All right, there's that. All right. You really want to do. You really want to keep going.
Frank and
We're
Glock.
back, baby. Let's make it happen.
Frank and Glock.
What did you just? Oh, you had to stop and okay. All right. Mike has talked me into this. He said there's been like enough nerd patches going around, and everyone has claimed their fidelity on these epically long form videos that we're going to keep going. And I'm telling you right now, how long was the video that we were 3 hours?
There was one that was super long. I know at least an hour and a half on one of them.
No, the one we decided not to film.
Oh yeah, dude, that was 3 hours.
So there's a 3-hour video we have that we're just still kind of contemplating on putting out there or not, because it's pretty damning. But yeah, it was 3 hours, and it felt like it was like Fabe was here. It literally felt like it was like,
No, it was 3 hours.
It was 3 hours, and it felt like it was like 4
and then it was dark.
Yeah.
Hey, if we get 10,000 comments on this, we'll drop that damning video.
I'm gonna get sued. Anyway,
50K comments.
Look, if we do a GoFundMe
For legal defense.
and y'all help me with legal defense, then we'll consider. Yeah. Okay, so what we have here, some guys up in. Why don't you talk about him? You got the.
Yeah, I got you. So our slide right here is from our friends over at Mass Hole Firearms, Matt. This is actually his new project he's working on, Modern Artillery. So these slides he's got coming out are insane, guys. They have some really cool kind of pre-cuts there. They're all anodized, and they have a coating on them.
We talked to him because I want to put this in our polisher. He said it's a PDP coating.
Yep.
Or PDV, maybe, I think it is. Something.
And then, so the whole aim of this new project with Modern Artillery is getting a bunch of kind of like the best in the industry together to collaborate on some custom builds. So he's got the slides He's getting frames done as well. They'll all be stippled. He's going to get the triggers through us, and then I know he's got the guys over at Parker Mountain Machine and the guys over at NDZ doing some parts on them as well. So it's just like a big collaboration project, essentially. Yeah, these are cool though. Really, really nice.
Guys thirsty?
No, I'm alright.
I could use a sip.
There's one for you. Okay.
Oh, you got the fancy shit.
Damn, in a glass bottle too.
So the stash has changed since the last video.
Longer, man.
I'm just trying to. I was gonna go handlebar at first, but then I like that kind of more of like an English look. You know what I'm saying? Like the English comes straight out like that instead of turning up. I don't know. I'm still messing around.
What's the guy? Charlie Chaplin?
Charlie Chaplin.
Well, that was
Yeah.
Hitler, dude. You had a Hitler stash, right?
Yeah.
Just saying. Know your stashes.
All right. So the frame today is. Where's that box? How do we get this?
The guys at Nomad Defense sent it over when they dropped their Gen 5 slides.
Okay, cool. I've always appreciated the thinness of this grip. It's pretty compact there. Same thing. I like the longer beaver tail. This has got already, nice and thin, so you don't have to worry about getting too many, your Glock callus right there. And it's got a, did you do the stippling?
No, that's from
This is from them? Oh, wow. And that looks like it's hand stippling, too. It doesn't really look like it's, that can't be a laser. There's no way. Maybe they'll comment on who does their stippling. But it comes with a couple different back straps. This one is a metal back strap, right?
Yeah.
That's nice. So that's one of those things I've mentioned before. Like if you guys are going to do one upgrade that's like really, really, really worth the money for a Glock are these weighted back straps right here. Like these things are money in the bank. I don't know what the magic is, what the physics are. I have one in here. But as far as like mitigating recoil, it's going to be another one. It's like an aha phenomenon. You're like, what is this wizardry? But it actually, it's the craziest thing. I'm telling you, get one. This is from way back in the day. What was his name? Tyler, I forget, but he called it the Seattle Slug because he was from Seattle. And he made them out of brass. And it was just like some small little pouring thing in his garage.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name? I think it was anyway. I mean, and this is back in the day. This is like when Lenny McGill was still shooting, like giving videos on how to shoot. It's pretty hysterical. And VHS tapes, and everyone had like the, almost like they were California, that kind of, so they had they had that look. All right, so we're gonna build this up. Found this company called Fishhorn Creations. I was looking for something to kind of like, I told you we're going to do that video where we're going to all build Glocks. And I wanted something for everyone to kind of have in front of them to be able to, really help them visualize things. And so they have these two trays here. Actually, that goes there. Extractor goes there. It's pretty cool. It's kind of like there's an old, I don't know if you guys remember this. They used to give this away at the what the heck do they call it? The Glock Armors course. And you can see it actually fits inside the Glock box. Like, see how it's designed? Yeah. So you could have it sitting just like that.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. They've gone through a bunch of different, things they get, like they can always tell how many Glock courses you've been to because they have like all the swag from it. You go there like, oh yeah, man, I got this keychain, I got this, I got that. All right. Like these rubberized things right here. They made all these little trays like that to say Glock on them. Glock in there. Glock Perfection. I use them. And you know, it's pretty cool if you know the instructor and you make good with them. Like at the end of the class, I hope no one from corporate hears this, but at the end of the class, there's usually 5 or 6 people that don't show up. And you're like, bro, I got dibs. You're like, walk away with like 7 or 8 mats. You know what I mean? Jackson is turning 21 in August, and so we should all do that. We should all go to the Glock course,
I'd do that.
the armor's course.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Sit for the armor's course. Yeah, I have to recert for the advanced. So basically, we're gonna put this together the exact same way I would build a defensive gun, because most of the stuff we're doing is is kind of like gunfighting stuff anyway. So let me make sure it's. Okay. Double check on that. All right, so we're putting my trigger in there, so we're going to start with that. And you know how dang easy that was. Oh, Mike, where's the? Oh, they don't have a proprietary pin, right? You just use the Glock pin.
Yes.
Okay. Let's get this other part put in, the part that I really hate. And where did that go? Not here. Look, I know you guys always ask me for parts, and I say we never only have any of these parts around. But they're for us. Hey, man, you got a spare extractor? Oh, man, sorry. We don't. Oh, wait, that's why I didn't have it. Gen 5. They got the Gen 5 configuration. And I actually don't have one of those springs, so we're going to improvise with a reduced power firing pin safety spring for the.
You got any of those brass shoes around? You have ones that kind of like are this color, right?
Oh yeah, dude.
That would be cool.
We had one of them.
I know. I've seen it around here somewhere.
You wanna show the colors? Yeah, we had one left. I don't know what I did with that brass shoe. Oh, wait, I can't give it to you. I got to give it to my buddy Justin.
Oh, okay.
I promised him I forgot. All right. Look, man, get what you get, bro.
Okay, I know, man. Hand me
Brass
downs.
shoe all of a sudden. I have to lose my temper. All right, so you're going to drop the spring down in there. And this is a very simple one. You know, they in the Glock courses they'll give you a little screwdriver. If you're working on lots of these guns, it's always good to have like some type of jeweler's screwdriver or something like that laying around. But you're going to come up through here like this. Remember, the notch has to come towards you, and you're just really trying to catch this. I'll push that down just a little bit. You really have to catch this and come over top of it. Actually, you know what? I haven't done this in a minute, so this is actually the way I used to do it. I used to come through here with this, pushing it. And this is what they show you at the armor's class. So
Nice.
Capture it like that. And then this side, you're going to be able to come right over top of your, and you're installed. Okay. The test you can do is like you want your barrel to be able to hang off. That's what that notch does. Stops the barrel. So, all right, that part's done. Rest is up to you now. What did we do with those snippers I gave you? You got me earlier.
Oh, right there, behind your napkin.
Huh. Oh. I thought that was holding together that. Maybe it is. No. Reinsert. Now here we need a locking block and we need a slide catch. So we're going to drop the slide catch down in. Always push down on this to make sure you're seated in the little hole. That's always a good idea. Just put a little pressure on there. And then when you drop your locking block in, frames are just so easy. Here's another good thing. You can use this corner right there and grab that and push it through if you need any extra force behind it. So see how easy that went in. Another thing, you can use the corner of this to set that to make sure that not so much on these. That's interesting. That sticks out kind of far, but it's not like your hand is like. I mean, your hand will be up there like that. But I wonder if they did have a proprietary trigger pin for theirs.
Think so.
Yeah, they might. If anyone has a Nomad, if they
read the box. Yeah, it might have been neat. I said so. Shit. I thought it was a Gen 5 pin.
That doesn't. Yeah, there's just a trigger housing pin and a backstrap retention pin, it looks like. This is cool. They have a chart, too, to show you what you can use for the... All right. Easy peasy, man. Once again... Push it forward. This is what's the cool word for them? A decentralized frame, or it's not a Glock frame. So basically, you always want to check that. Make sure you have a nice engagement right there on your frame, and then you're going to come back and you're going to push down on the. Like I said, these are up in the air a little bit, so you will have a little bit of space to overcome, but that's going to be right on the drop shelf right there. 100% on the drop shelf. I like to work it back and forth a little bit. Sometimes I'll pull over like that and just come forward. Wait a minute. That's interesting. That doesn't look like a Glock part. And it's not.
How the hell did you know from that?
I could tell from the profile of this right here. They're completely different. I looked at it, I was like, wait a minute, it didn't feel like it either.
So explain to the people what you just...
Well, when you're just look at this stuff so much, it's like you can see the stuff burn in your eyes. It's like the profiles, the way something looks compared to something else. And when I worked that trigger back and forth and I just looked down at the profile of this hand right there, and you guys will see it once I grab an OEM one, and someone's going to get their butt kicked around here because those are... I'm checking these real quick. Yeah, these are made with the right ones. I like always do this here. Like, this is how small our production batches are. You know, this is literally the size that we do. So these got tested, and then this, and then we're putting we have a The same way we test with different pins, the same way we use a shoe. So basically, we know that they're going to, work. Like we bench test everything. So that's as much as we're doing per batch. These are the new. Now that we have the parts for the Gen 6, we have the housings. We're doing full drop-in kits. So we didn't have the housings before. Now Glock has made this available. We have the strikers and we have the housings. But I always like to show this because people think like, oh, those guys are over there mass marketing, blah blah blah. Like this is small batch stuff. We just work like the Keebler elves around here to. Okay, so I'll show you the difference, Mike. If you look at that part. And you look at that part, they're actually different.
I don't see a difference.
See how that's more square right there? That's more like a big toe. That looks like a big
rounded.
toe and it's rounded. This looks like it's straight. Can you see the difference?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You just notice that in passing.
Yeah. Well, it's like when that happened with the safeties.
Oh yeah.
Back in the day, and I was like, I was looking over Jackson's shoulder, and I'm like, wait a minute, and it was literally like the difference of like 10,000ths, and I'm like, let me see that, and I put in a gun. And I was just like, and I called our manufacturer up. I said, what did you do to the trigger? Oh, we got this new hot shot in from Landtech, and he just went through them and cleaned them all up, and I said. You freaking negated the, you know what I mean? Like it was enough of a degree change to negate the trigger safety tab. I mean, we had how many triggers? I mean, we had to throw away so many damn triggers. It was unreal. But he was the new hot shot. I said, sometimes I can't. The engineers, I can't stand you sometimes. Like stay in your damn lane. If I'm a gunsmith and I work on guns and I know exactly what I'm talking about, and I tell you to change the angle or do this or do that, just do it. You know what I mean? Like it drives me crazy sometimes when I'm working with engineers. You guys know how you are too. You always know better. Yeah, the one time I'm like, bro, I'm paying you. All right? Remove the frickin' hole 5,000ths up and well, I don't know if that's gonna work. I'm like, how many Glocks have you worked on? What's your credential? Freaking unreal. It's my favorite part. You can always be very, it's a joke too. It's the only time I'll talk about being liberal. Use a liberal amount on here. What is going on? I tell you what, bro. Yeah, someone. So this housing is what we use for the OEM housing. This is redundant. You don't need a stop there if you have a stop here. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah. Why would a Gen 5 housing have?
Because this is designed. These are the ones that we have over there for the OEM shoes. I'll tell you what, man.
Oh.
How in the look? You know what you need to film? You need to film.
Child abuse?
Yeah, tomorrow.
River and Jack.
That's what you need to film. When I wake those two clowns up tomorrow at 6 a.m. and be like, and you know what? They're very, very conscientious. So I just don't know what's going on. But believe me, the shame will come. They will be shamed.
See, now I don't feel so bad
Yeah,
about my
I was gonna
shitty
say.
sales pitch earlier, dude.
Jake will be all upset because he's like the OEM guy. Like Jake builds all like I'm like, that's OEM land over there. You handle it. You got it right, right? Okay, cool. Jake will be like, I was wondering where all my housings were going. Goodness gracious. And you know what's going to happen? I'm going to make them take that entire wall of, turn that around and show them all those triggers. Those are all coming down tomorrow and being opened up.
Quality control is control.
Right. Exactly. And then I'm going to make them hold 2 Bibles out like this and kneel. I was talking to a psychiatrist, talking about, you know, how you go, like, I had some therapy at one time there. I said something about my dad and like punishment and stuff like that. I'm like, well, it used to make me take 2 phone books and kneel with them, and my nose could only be this far away from the wall, and I just have to kneel with phone book. It was crazy. It was like very, very, yeah. I thought everyone grew up that way.
Mine just made me shovel horse shit in the Florida sun.
Yeah.
You know?
That'll do it too. Yep.
Wow, it's kind of a trauma dump, huh?
Yeah, the kids these days are just, oh my gosh, it's laughable.
Yeah, well, you know, all that stuff builds character.
Yeah.
Kids ain't got no character these days.
They really don't. All right, so I don't believe this has a, no, it doesn't. I've talked to you guys about this tool, this Vism tool. It's pretty cool. Vism tool is pretty cool. I don't have any kind of affiliate stuff going on because I'm trying to stay under the radar. The one time I did put on Amazon links up and stuff, we got so busted. I'm like, they took one down. But this has all kind of cool little, like, that's just for about everything you need for a Glock right there. So it's got an extractor, a sight tool, just your normal old. They just throw this thing in because, like, you're not using the Phillips head or this for a Glock. It's just kind of like a gimme. And then your 5/64 punch. All back here. When you insert this, one side has a bevel, the other side's flat. The side that's flat usually has a little burr on it, usually because that's how they when they pour them or whatever, they're stuck together that way. Should go right down in, no problem. Which it did. We already have the striker rigged up. This notch goes on the inside. That's the easiest way to remember it. There's one side that doesn't have a notch, and there's one side that has a notch. The notch goes on the inside. I've usually found the best way to do this, it's like the game operation. I just keep this hand steady, and I just kind of drop this over top of it. If you always keep one hand steady, it's easier than having two. You know, I'm talking about 2 hands going different ways. Grab the extractor. And the capture, the see how I push that down, the firing pin safety catches the extractor. And then another thing I always remember, Glock on Glock is always metal on metal, polymer on polymer. So every once in a while someone will come in and they'll have this polymer bearing in there, and I'll say that's backwards. So just think metal on metal, polymer on polymer. Wow, see, that just jumped out. Wonder why that happened. This is a Glock slide, right? This was an OEM slide, correct?
No, that's
oh, okay.
That's made from a single piece of metal from Parker Mountain Machine.
There we go. So metal on metal. And polymer on polymer is like, you'll think of the polymer right there. Just touching the polymer right there. So polymer on polymer is going to be polymer the back thingy. I just had a, what's this called again?
Backplate.
It's been a long day, huh?
Yeah, right.
I guess that's what they don't know about the filming is first you work all day.
Yeah.
And then we film 7 or 8 o'clock at night, sometimes 10.
And this was a pretty forgiving day. I got my back cracked. I went to the chiropractor. Found out my hips were like 7 degrees messed up. I'm wondering why I'm hobbling around like an old man. And it aggravates me so bad. Ugh. My boys are, 20 and 18. And like, we were skateboarding up until a couple years ago. Once we start buying these farms and stuff like that, it's been nothing but like work on top of work. It's like, hey, I'm going to buy some all you do is buy yourself a job.
Yep.
He's lived on a farm his whole life. How many horses does your mom have now?
22 now. Oh, she just got 2 new ones, right? So yeah, 22.
22 horses.
Well, and then
anyone out there?
14 head of ponies on top of that.
Yeah.
So
that's right. Yeah. If anyone I don't think people understand. Talk about work, bro. And to this day, you were probably over there today helping your mom with stuff.
Today I actually did not stop by the one day, but yesterday I took the ponies to the fire station at the airport for 2 hours.
Okay.
So they had like a, I don't know, some kind of company party or fireman's appreciation thing for that particular station.
Right.
And they wanted a couple therapy ponies out there, so I brought a couple mini ponies out there, hung out, people took pictures.
Nice.
That was like the hottest day of the summer so far, too.
It was pretty hot, yeah. We were in the shade, though.
So you had a day off? From your mom's, at least?
Yeah. Yeah, but we got, obviously, with stuff going on with my dad lately, I gotta step in a bit more.
What is going on here?
Taking over a few days of summer camp here in the next couple weeks.
Tallulah said, my daughter's in the camps, and Tallulah said, I really like Jarek. What word did she use? I forget what word she used. But she said at one point, she said, hey, you're my dad's employee. I can tell you what to do.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. There's a dead stop to this for some reason.
Uh-oh.
It has something to do with the slide stop rather. Yeah, see, that isn't going anywhere.
Oh, is it because of that spring?
No. So you got an aftermarket slide, an aftermarket frame that I don't know a heck of a lot about either. So I have to just start going through the process of deduction. So with that, the first thing I'm going to do, because this is where I can feel the jam up. This is how you get this out right here. Same thing. So it's kind of like a reversal. You go like that. You really don't have to put a tool in there. You can just push it out. As long as it's depressed, you can see it's already catching an edge right there. Just keep your finger, when you take it out, just keep your finger over top of it, or else that spring is going to spring out. Yeah, look at that. It's stopping dead. That is so... Not letting the lock, not letting the... There we go, like so that, wait a minute. Make sure this is a Gen 5. Yeah, Gen 5 barrel.
what's your hunch here? What are you thinking?
I think it's the firing pin safety hitting the vertical extension of the trigger bar.
Oh.
In fact, I'm almost 100% that's what it is. Because like this is obviously a 17 size frame. Or am I
No,
crazy?
45 frame.
Huh?
45 frame. Right?
No, that's got such a long nose. Compact. All right, then that's the problem.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, 9x. It's like the 19x.
All right. That's where I missed. I'm thinking the slide length, and my brain's saying 17. You know what I mean? Put this back together real quick. Can't put the firing pins for safety in with the firing pin in. Oh, Brandon, I should have put that back together before I. All right.
Moment of
Roll,
truth.
please.
Yes. There she is.
All right. Feel that.
It's like sandpaper.
Yeah. So this has incredibly, it's really,
Crunchy.
now so what we want to do is we want to find out where it's coming from. It's either coming from hood space or the, yeah. So this is purely a slide to frame thing right now. You can even hear it.
Yeah.
That is not going to, so you can already see on the inside of here, it's doing a little bit of a job of kind of like scraping into the, so what we're going to do is we're going to do first things first. I usually do use oil for this, but I just want to get this. Okay, much better. All right, so I'm gonna tell you right now that was much better, but I'm gonna. If this were my gun, the edges on this right here seem to be a little. Feel that? Can you feel this? Like it's almost like this. No, right here, on the tab. The tab.
Oh,
itself.
yeah.
No, this right here. Put your finger right there on that tab. See what I'm saying? It's not. That's kind of where I think it's kind of grabbing right there. Where I mean, we see it all the time. That's why I have that whole video on polishing those. So, normally with the Glock, when you have that, I tell people just to sit there and watch TV. When they're watching TV, just keep doing it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. This more than likely is going to, work itself out. If it doesn't, then, we'll get into these tabs. You know what?
Yes.
It's a video.
Out, dude. Get
What's
the
that?
Dremel out.
Yeah. I'm just gonna hit these real quick, the way I normally would.
That's what the people want to see, man.
So what I'm doing is I'm going to hit this with that. It's like a gunsmithing wheel. It's a rotary, and so I'm going to kind of take the edge off this a little bit and try to smooth this out. Now I feel the difference of that edge. See how it doesn't have that?
Yeah.
This one's still just a little bit tight right here. Let me just. See what happens now. Oh yeah, it's like night and day. Let me put this. Okay. And like I said, this is more like a oil thing. So I will put a dab of oil in there too.
Sounds better.
It's better, but and this is where when you collaborate with someone, we can get back to Matt and say, hey, let's try this, let's try that, because this is It could be just a simple incompatibility, but like see, it's still. And so the next thing I would do with this is I would take this out. And it's hard because this is coated, but I'd probably get some lapping compound in there.
Do it.
And I don't have any lapping compound. I can't get it. I don't have anything that I can get in there.
3,000 grit sandpaper. Come on. Let's get wild. First hand fit Glock like it's in 1911. Let's get fucking crazy.
Let's see if we got a.
Yes.
This is truly a Johnny custom Glock now, dude.
He's gonna be glassy when he's done, kid.
On bearings.
Let me get a. What we got, bro? We use what we got. Construction.
Oh shit! Smart.
Get this out. Didn't those guys get Glock slides too, though, Matt? Man?
They did. These are the first prototypes for the modern artillery.
Right.
So like those ones were the first ones to get tests on different PVD coating finishes as well.
Okay.
But yeah, they'll also do a run of. I think they're gonna do a run of Gen 3s and Gen 5s as well, off of OEM.
I think Jack, of course, he took the acetone, but
You got some blaster over here.
here we go. You can tell it's listen.
They're like
Here.
a little rough.
Yeah. Here it's
Smoother on that side, but
So what do you do? Are you just trying to clean the grease out of the?
yeah, so I'm not gonna be able to get any type of. This isn't even gonna do the best job of it, but. And this is exactly why I quit working on guns. You know, I would take guns in. You know what I mean? And I'm like, it's a nightmare. It really is. You know, it's one of those things where, and you guys that do it, like, if it's an OEM Glock, it's one thing. But if it's like a Frankenstein gun, man, like you just don't know what you're going to get into. And then you can make it perfect, and within 500 rounds, it's another magic show. So I'm done, man. You know what I'm saying? If it's not a stock Glock.
10,000 likes and we'll make Johnny build a Poly 80. Taking off.
Oh, shit. I don't have any. I don't have like all my sandpaper that I had in the when I used to stipple, and I would cut the sandpaper down. I gave it all to Wick. So all that sandpaper that I had successively, what we'll try to do here, I'll try this, but I don't know, man. This is 2,500. Let me see if I could have swore I threw some belts away today. Okay, here's 1,500. Might just be enough. You really do need like a Kratex wheel with some lapidary compound or something like that. Kratex wheels, they kind of like polish and remove material at the same time.
Looks like it's actually working.
Yeah, it actually is. It's taking some.
Shit.
If anything, this video is like, this is kind of like, this is the kind of stuff you gotta do, man, you know? Just one thing I wish, man. I wish that pitch would have been better because
He's never gonna hear the end of it.
We'll have to do a take 2 at the end of the video.
no, we are. We're gonna have a redemption.
Let me do it. Let me do a redemption.
Huh. Just see what we got here. Yeah.
Sounds nice.
Yeah, it's like, whew, it's way better. Way
And that's
better.
that's without any lube too, still, right? Because you
right.
wiped it all
There's no
off.
lube or anything.
Yeah.
Where's the? Um. 50. Way better. Yeah, see, it's still
something chasing in there.
That's what I'm trying to say. At this point, it's just
Try
and you have to remember, sometimes I'm coming up or down. Like if I sit right in the middle of the gun, and so now what I'm doing is I'm pulling up on it and pushing down on it to see if there's more scrape.
maybe hit that spot where they put that weird gold grease stuff. I think that needs a little smoothing out too. That, like copper colored stuff.
So you can see the markings on the. I just think we're going to have to talk to those guys about different finishes. You know what I mean? Because if, like your gun, that the Glock, that slide, you can actually sharpen a knife on it. It's Tenifer. So,
Really?
oh yeah, you can actually take a knife edge and sharpen it on that slide. That's how hard that steel is.
Wow.
So if I was building this gun for someone, I would literally take it out and probably put 1,000 rounds through it and see how it performed. So, that's telling me some information. See how the gun's opening up right there and it's tighter there.
Oh, yeah.
So at this point, I am not going to put the sights on. I'm not going to put an RMR on this. I'm just going to run it. Like, it needs to be run. We really need to see, like, and remember how we saw the wear on his trigger parts? You will see the wear and what's going on just through use. You know, right now I've done what I think would typically take away, and it has taken away some of it. So it's like, you know, we're kind of on the right trajectory, but the point is, it's
It's a prototype, is why you make prototypes.
Do you have a stock frame around here you can try that slide out on?
Yeah. Good. Hey, now you're using your head. No, that's good.
The big brain on it.
Points for Gryffindor.
I need a 17 slide though, right?
19. Or 45.
There's a 45. Butter.
Okay.
Now throw that on your slide to see which one it is. Yeah, it might just be tolerance stacking. And it's also why you make prototypes. It's still a little straight, but
Yeah, it's still a little. Like right there, see how it wants to grab. And this is really how, you know, you help each other in the gun industry. Because this information we're going to be able to take to Matt and say, hey, that might not be the right series of stainless. You know what I mean? There's all kind of different things that through this type of process present themselves that, you know, when you have a gun community and they're all trying to help each other out, you know, you give this information back and forth. So, yeah, that's definitely, like I said, at this point, I think we'll just put some rounds next time. You got your 40 now, bro. Same thing with this. See how bad's jumping? Like there's that jumps all the way to the end. We wanted that to stop way before that. So I feel that there's something going on with the slide. Like I said, it's a prototype. They're trying different types of coatings. This might not be the one, man. I mean, that's the thing. Sometimes the stuff that looks really cool, you know, it doesn't work out practically, you know, and that's the difference in between, you know, building a gun that's going to run and run and run and run, and then one that's going to shit the bed after, you know. The problem these days is people don't. It's like just a weird culture now. Like, I'm not going to say who it was, but remember we were testing those guns and they were shaving the jackets. So guys sent us some guns to do some testing, and the porting was so extreme that it was like shaving the casings as they were coming out of the barrel. Like we couldn't hit a piece of, like, you know, steel from 20 feet. It was all over the place. You just see it hitting, you know. And so we knew there were some of them out in the wild, but those guys couldn't have shot those guns. They were painted and they looked really cool. They were the coolest damn thing out there, you know. So, but that information, we're like, hey, did you sell any? He's like, oh yeah, well, we got a bunch of them. I'm like, whew. But, and then that information, they changed everything. I mean, they went full. We had conversations, and they just decided, like, all right, no, we're gonna you know. And so the painting's still cool. Everything looks really cool. It's just they changed the recipe. So we only do that for certain people, man. Don't send us your crap.
Yeah, let's wrap it up for the people. This has been an incredible episode, dude. Anytime a Dremel gets turned on in here, dude, like that should do well.
Man. No, that's definitely, you know, you guys that build P80s and, you know, that like to mess around, that are enthusiasts. It's a challenge, you know, it's a fun challenge, you know what I mean, to get in there and see, you know, it's almost like intriguing, like, okay, let's try to do this, let's try to do that. You know, the only advantage I might have over a lot of people is, like, I know what not to do. Like, you know what I mean, I'm not going to screw a gun up, like, you know, I've already done, but I've done that so many times, you know what I mean, like the sayings about, you know, it's all the failures that make you, you know, successful or whatever. Like, I've done plenty of things where I'm just like, well, probably shouldn't have done that. You know, especially when it comes like stippling. My gosh, you know, you can polymer guns, or it's just a whole different ball game. You start burning into that too deep, and it changes the way the polymer flexes, and yeah, and then even the different frames. You know, Mike's getting into stippling. He can tell you.
Ruined a ton of frames. Bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's got to be pretty unforgiving, right? Once you start burning that plastic, there's no going back.
You know, what's crazy nowadays, you can get frames for so dang cheap. You know,
Bring them out now.
yeah. And you could work on. We used to work on, because, you know, we would get the Glock box is kind of similar to the polymer than Glocks. Not exactly, but it's similar. So when I would work on my patterns, I would sit there and do an entire Glock box, just, you know, trying to. And this is back when they didn't have like patterns for heat guns. You know, we used to have to make our own. We'd like get brass and would, you know, turn them, and then would actually get, you know, bastard files and make little waffles on them and stuff like that. And so we were designing our own thing before it even became, you know, a big deal. You know. And now they're doing, what are they doing? They're doing all the laser stuff, which is, I don't know. I like the real utilitarian, practical tools type stuff. You know, like I just don't want it to slip out of my hand. I don't care what it looks like. You know.
People ask for a Johnny's Glock. Like, what's Johnny's Glock, dude?
Well, I'll show you something.
No, we should save that for a different episode.
Oh, we will?
Save that for a different episode.
All right.
Oh, by the way, I did some research.
Yeah.
47% of the people who watch are not subscribed.
Come on, guys. If you watch these videos, stand up, be a man, subscribe. Just hit the subscribe. That's how lazy this call is. Just hit the subscribe button, bro. You don't have to hit the notification button. Just hit the subscribe button, for goodness sake. I'm trying to build that audience up. Oh, man. Guess we got to start doing some circus-style stuff around here.
Oh,
You know what?
jeez.
We watched the video. It was awesome. It's Jarek. How old were you when you were on the back of that horse?
Oh, I was probably like 12, 13.
If you guys want to see Jarek, VEX does a video on their family, and there's
Wait, Vice?
yeah.
Vice News.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Your lore goes so deep, bro.
It's deep. No.
There's definitely some lore in the fam.
Yeah, dude. There's some lore. So basically, we watched it. What's it called? The Last Circus Family or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, The Last Circus Family. And there's a part where his mother is in there, and well, you tell a story. What was it? You even remember?
No, I don't really recall, honestly.
They had a little kid. They tried to bring a little kid up to get on and just like stand on and it was set up that way to stand on the
Okay,
pony.
so yeah, it's the end of the year circus show that she does for the summer camp, right?
No, this was at Big Cat.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's where we did it. It was inside at in the arena in there.
Yeah, so it's like maybe a 30-yard circle, not even, and it's almost designed so the kid can't do it. So all of a sudden, Jarek comes out of nowhere, skin and bones. You know what I mean? Like, it's funny because I told him that I'm like, you had like some serious floods on. They must have been like, he must have grown. It must have been. It looked like he had grown. Like, you have a growth spurt.
Yeah.
It looked like that was your costume, but you had a growth spurt. So like the sleeves were up to here. You could see like up to here. Like he had and he's standing on this horse, like just going around in a circle like this. Like it's nothing. Totally cool.
I still got it too.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I can still
Sure.
stand on a horse. I just need a bigger horse.
Yeah, Thor.
Yeah, that's what Thor's for.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys, well, listen, that's been a heck of an episode, man. If you actually made it through this, we do have to start coming up with some type of patch. We always say that, like, man, it's like these episodes get so long. But we hope you enjoyed it. Dealers, affiliates, anything like that, this is the gentleman you want to get a hold of. I hope you had a good time meeting Jarek. I know I enjoyed hanging out with him most of it.
Oh yeah, I think you got another call coming here, Johnny.
But yeah, we got a couple of new things. Like Mike said, there's a couple of new things coming out. He doesn't want to show you one because it is kind of a big deal. But the GAT 11, we're going to have an update on that. The 4311, we finally got everything squared away with the trigger shoes. We're supposed to have those literally tomorrow. So the 4311 should restock. We were going to try to have them by the 4th of July sale, but I don't think that's going to be doable. So mid-July, we will have those available. Can I mention our drop? When's this going to air?
Maybe Wednesday.
Okay, but we got that for this Friday, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, there's a YouTube video live right now.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
all right. All right, yeah. Well, we already dropped the news I was trying to say. Because we filmed this content ahead of time, but I was going to say we made a trigger for the Ruger RXM. So hopefully some of you guys already have that, and you can comment on how great it is and how it's helped your shooting so much. But anyway, guys, listen, subscribe. 53% of you. Subscribe. Hit the bell notification. Hit like, share this stuff with the guys that don't know how to build guns and they're going to hurt themselves or hurt someone else. And check us out on Instagram. Check us out on Facebook. And remember, trigger control is control.